DJ Jaguar 6 here, and today I was thinking about starting a new series on Destiny. Take a new character in Destiny, make a new character, start playing Destiny basically, and go through the game and sort of find, what happens, what do we do, what do we find, where do we go, how do you do the missions, strikes, raids. Basically, sort of, a guide to Destiny. So I thought I'll start this up, and we'll see kind of where it goes. So obviously, you're going to get Destiny. You're going to turn it on for the first time, and this is more or less going to be the first screen that you're going to come up with. You got three main characters within Destiny. Right, you got your Warlock, you got your Hunter, and you got your Titan. So now they all have a range of like special abilities, so to speak. Now each ability in their own right is an awesome ability, but they all suit sort of different scenarios and different ways. There's different abilities that can come together with other abilities. Is if you play with your friends, and they can really come together to make sort of almost a bigger ability. So certain ones, like should we say the Hunter here, with the Night Stalker bow at the bottom, which actually traps enemies when fired into a group of enemies. It actually traps them. And then say you come along with something like the Titan, the Sunbreaker at the bottom, which is basically a massive hammer, and the Titan will throw the hammers with massive explosive radius. Trapped enemies in a small ball, massive explosion from a Sunbreaker, and dealing death everywhere. But so these are the things that sort of like you'll learn to understand as Destiny, as the game progresses, so to speak. But starting from the top, you've got your Warlock, sort of a middle-ranged, can take an okay amount of damage, can deal a fair bit of damage, pretty quick. But the Warlock's main abilities lie in their abilities. So you got your Void Walker at the top, massive ball of light. Basically, you charge a super up, you run into a room, fire it off, massive explosion, and basically anything in the blast radius of it is more or less completely wiped out. Larger main bosses, it will do a fair bit of damage too, but it won't kill. Now Destiny does have a PvP called Crucible added to it. Quite a lot of these abilities work really well in PvP, but there is always a way of countering them in some way, shape, or form. So it's learning what counters what and what works with what. But the Void Walker is very nasty in PvP for large groups of grouped up Guardians capturing a point or trying to hold a point. You walk into a Void Walker, set it off, and it's going to ruin your day pretty quick. Then we got your Sunsinger in the middle. Now this is more of a support, like a team-based skill. Sunsingers have the ability to revive themselves if and when killed, in both Crucible and in PvE, in the normal Destiny, sort of during the missions. Once you activate the Sunsinger, all the abilities of the Warlock are greatly increased for a very short period of time. Because the Warlock can throw grenades like they're going out of fashion. The recharge rate of the grenade is greatly increased. The melee attack is greatly increased, and they're pretty strong for a good couple of seconds, but it doesn't last long. You've got to be very careful with Warlocks in Crucible, especially if you're playing something with elimination. You only have one life. Because you'll put one down, you'll walk away, he'll pick himself back up again, and then just continue the fight all over again. But they do have a sound trigger, which is very distinctive when they activate it. So once you sort of know what that sound is, it is pretty easy to identify when one does pick themselves back up. Then you've got the Stormcaller at the bottom, which is an arc ability, electric. Me and my friends, all my friends, they kind of say this is kind of like a Star Wars Emperor Palpatine thing. You'll activate the Stormcaller, You'll sort of be covered in complete electric coming out of your fingertips and everything. It gets a little bit mental and crazy. Now the ability itself actually chains itself between multiple enemies. So Crucible, it's not too bad for groups of enemies grouped up, but it does take a couple of seconds to kill, so you kind of have to be careful about that. If you can take groups of Guardians in PvP from the sides or behind, it will chain between them and it will just wipe out whole groups of people, which is always good. In PvE, it's an absolute awesome room clearer. Massive room of enemies, jump in with a Stormcaller, and you're going to fry a whole room within seconds. But all round, the Warlock is an all-round good character to use. Now you got your Hunter. Now the Hunter isn't the strongest character in the game. It's probably the weaker of the characters. Can't take a great deal of damage, but it can deal a fair bit of damage in return. So starting at the top, you get your Gunslinger. The Hunter will summon like a revolver, basically, with 3 shots. To most smaller enemies in PvE, it's more or less an instant kill. The larger bosses will take damage, and the really big bosses will take a bit of damage. But it's good because you can keep your range, fire a couple of shots, hold back, stay out, try staying out the way. In Crucible, instant kill to a Guardian, hit with a Gunslinger. I've raged more in Gunslingers in PvP than I care to admit. You got your Blade Dancer in the middle. Now this is an interesting ability with the Hunter. In PvE, it's great for room clearance for the smaller enemies, sort of like the middle enemies. Will take a couple of slices, but they'll go down fairly quick. But blade dancing at a sort of a big boss, so to speak, isn't ill-advised, because you're getting your couple of slashes, and most of the main bosses in this game have some form of area attack. In close attack that will kill you more or less instantly. You're going to run up, blade dance them, and then they can get stomped on and you're dead. PvP, however, blade dancers will be the bane of your life. You'll be capturing a point, you'll be running around a corner, and this blade dancer will come flying around the corner at some silly speed, and it will just one slash, and you're dead. It's just gone. History. Now, you can upgrade the blade dancer's super with certain sort of ability. You can alter it slightly, so you can send like an electric wave across the floor in the direction that you're facing, which can be a little irritating at times, because you'll see the blade dancer and you'll try to keep your distance, and then suddenly you have a wave of electric flying across the floor at you, and then you'll get you from range. It's like, great, dead. Now the Night Stalker at the bottom, the Void Bow. Again, like I said earlier, interesting little ability in PvE. So you'll charge the bow up and you'll fire it into a group of enemies. It'll impact the first enemy. As long as it's a smallish enemy, it'll be killed instantly. And then wherever that enemy is killed, or if it hasn't killed anything, it's just hit the floor, a ball of void will be left on the floor, and it will tether. It'll sort of shoot out, and it'll tether anything within range of the ball, and anything that's tethered can't get away for a good couple of seconds. It won't be able to get away. It will be easy to kill. It'll take far more damage from opponents, or from your friends, sorry. So it's really good, sort of a support ability. Tether large enemies together so they can't disappear, or even big bosses. Most of the big bosses in this game have an ability to teleport, which can be rather irritating. So you can cut that right out with a Night Stalker. Jump straight in, Night Stalk them down, they're stuck. Get in there with everyone else's abilities and hard-hitting weapons and just smash. Very, very good for some of the large bosses. PvP, almost as annoying in PvP. Again, group of people, you're sitting in a room with a couple of your mates. Night Stalker walks in, sticks everyone into the room, and then you can't get away. And the rest of their team bundles in, and then it gets a bit messy after that. You can upgrade the Night Stalker ability. Normally it's just one shot with a bow, but you can actually upgrade it with 3 shots, which can be a little irritating because you can essentially kill 3 people with it in PvP. But the more shots that you have, the smaller the tether is, the less time you have to tether things. So it's kind of a balance. And then you've got your Titan, which is the complete opposite to the Hunter. Completely. Big tanker. Can take a lot of damage. can deal a fair bit of damage. Is a little not your fastest character in the game, but doesn't do too bad. Now, you got the striker at the top, which is your arc ability. Big group of enemies around you in both PvE and PvP. The Titan will summon up all this arc electric, basically smash the floor and sort of creates almost a bubble around himself, and anything caught in that bubble, so in a wave almost, will just be completely more or less killed. Smaller enemies definitely vaporized. The sort of the captains and things like this, the middle enemies, will take a fair bit of damage if not wiped out. To be fair, I've seen quite a lot of them wiped out with one smash from this thing. The larger bosses will take a fair bit of damage, but again won't be killed. It's if you're going to charge a fully charged up boss with full health with a striker ability, it's probably not going to go too well for you though. You're going to run up, you're going to smash the boss, you're going to do a fair bit of damage, and the boss is going to look at you and go, oh, okay then, and it's just going to smash you back, and you'll probably be dead. So, have to be careful with the striker. Again, you can upgrade the striker with certain abilities. Once you get in and you start getting the skill tree sort of set up properly. The striker can be upgraded with the smash ability. He'll hit the floor, and the direction that he's facing, a wave of arc will travel across the floor. So you can almost turn it into a bit of a ranged at the same time. Doesn't have the greatest range, but can catch people unawares, especially in PvP. And you've got the Defender. This is the Titan's support ability, great for working together with a team. We'll actually create a void ball of light wherever the Titan decides to pop it, a bubble, so to speak. Anything in that bubble will be safe from ranged attack. So anything firing at you, the bubble will just repel all damage. Enemies can walk through it though, and they can melee you from the inside. But this Defender bubble has so many different sort of upgrades to it, so to speak, that it can benefit teams in different ways. So you can set it up for Armor of Light. Armor of Light, where any Guardian inside that bubble will gain an overshield. So you get your normal shield, your health, but then you'll get an overshield on top of that for a duration period of time. And you're going to take so much more damage, especially for the Titan. A Titan with an overshield is a force to be reckoned with. Works well both in PvE and PvP, especially if you're trying to capture a point in PvP in the Crucible. On control, pop a bubble on a control point, everything will try to attack you. Well, something will try to attack you, and you've got a bubble. The only way they can get you is to run into melee you, and there's probably going to be more than one of you. A good chance there will be, and it's not going to be a fair fight. And then you've got your Sunbreak at the bottom, and this, in my opinion, is one of the most sort of annoying abilities in this game. The Sunbreaker is an absolute beast in both PvP and PvE in this game. In PvE, it is an absolute wrecker. The Titan will summon like this, basically a massive hammer, and it will keep summoning them, and you can just keep throwing these things. Might as well just be throwing knives within reason. Keep throwing these hammers, and it was just an absolute melee. It's just things get crazy. Massive explosions basically everywhere. The solar damage actually lingers on the floor with the hammers as well, so that they do damage on the floor. You can throw these things everywhere. It's instant kill to most things, most sort of small and medium bosses. Big bosses will take a great deal of damage from this. PvP, again, one hammer, even to a radius of a Guardian in PvP, will kill you. It doesn't even have to hit you, it just has to hit close. And then even if you do survive, I say you've got all the solar damage which sort of lingers in pools of fire on the floor. If you step in it, you're going to burn yourself and you're going to die probably anyway. Absolute ability. And when the Titan goes into his Sunbreaker ability, I wouldn't say he's invincible, but he's not far off. He is very hard to kill. You see one of these in PvP, I'd suggest run. But, I mean, I've already got 3 characters in Destiny. I already have a Warlock. I already have a Hunter. I don't have a Titan. So, for the purpose of this, I think I'm probably going to go with a Titan. And I'm going to level the Titan up. And we'll see how it progresses. And as we play through, and we see different things. You know, the Titan will evolve. Not sure if I touched on it earlier, but so once you've selected your character, so you get the 3 main characters. Let's say I go with the Titan. You then see your Striker, the Defender, and the Sunbreaker. Now as you go in, it automatically starts, I believe, starts on the Striker ability, and that will have a skill tree for that one specific ability. And the character will start at level 1, and it can go to level 40. And as you progress that character through XP, through raids, missions, bounties, quests, you know, all sorts of things like this, you'll gain XP, killing enemies, and you'll start to unlock the skill tree a little more. And as that skill tree starts to open up a bit, you know, your character will get stronger. You know, potentially you can upgrade their sort of, how they recover from damage. Lost my words there for a second. You know, they'll get quicker within reason, and you can upgrade their jumps, their abilities, their melee attacks, their main super itself. You can alter it slightly to sort of suit the way that you like to play. And each one has its own skill tree. As you progress through it, you sort of, you know, you really boost that character's abilities. And you know, once you get to level 40 and you've really maxed out that ability, all those abilities, say these characters are they're something to contend with. They really are. Now I thought I might set myself a couple of ground rules while I'm trying to do this. So as I already have 2 characters in Destiny, sorry. Obviously, characters share the 2 main currencies in this game between each other, which is Glimmer, which is basically the money, and you get Legendary Marks, which is used to buy weapons and armor and stuff like that from the social areas within the game. So I thought I might turn it into a bit of a survival type thing. So I'm not going to actually use these marks or Glimmer to actually buy anything from any of the vendors within the game. So I'm solely and primarily going to just level up this character through what we loot through Destiny. So the game has a big loot drop system, but you also can buy quite a lot of stuff as well. So I'm going to see if I can get this character to sort of mature and level up from only the stuff that is looted through the game. And I think there might be one exception to this, which would be a character named Zer, who is a vendor who pops up randomly in the social areas in the game at the weekends. But by that time, the character would have leveled up sort of with Glimmer and Legendary Marks to an extent where I'm not going to buy much from him, but there are certain things you can buy that make loot drops easier to gain within the game. But I'm not going to buy any type of gear, unless of course it is required by a quest. There are a couple of quests that do require you to buy the odd 1 or 2 things, but they're very few and far between. So you probably won't really see a great deal of them. So obviously, once you've decided what character you're going to be, so for all intents and purposes, I'm going to choose my Titan. And then we get to our race, we get to our face, we get to our hair. You know, you can alter your character and make them look like anything you want. Now, I've got a human. My warlock is actually human, and my hunter is actually an awoken. So I was thinking of going with an exo, just for the difference. I've never actually had an exo character in Destiny. Essentially, the exos are like a mechanical race type, so to speak. And then you've got the Awoken. The story behind the Awoken, there's loads of story to sort of see on the Bungie website, so to speak. But I believe the story behind the Awoken is that they used to be human, but escaped Earth when it all got bad, basically. And over the years, they've kind of sort of almost, turned into kind of what you see now. Then obviously you got your plain old human. Now you can change these, you can alter these in any way that you like. We'll have a male exo. What type of face should we have? Sit here for hours just going through all the screens and seeing what's going on. What should we have? So I've never really looked at the exo characters before. I think I'll quite go with that one. Sort of a bluish face. You're probably going to learn that I quite like the colour blue in this game. I'm quite fond of the colour blue. Definitely blue eyes. The orange forehead. I could go with that. Not really. I'm not really the biggest one for massive upgrades, so to speak. It's very cosmetic. Yeah, a bit of damage on the side of the head there. That's, okay, that's interesting. Oh, that's not too bad, I suppose. Actually, probably just makes his forehead blue as well. Markings? Any markings? Get like a paint, almost look like a paint splatter almost. You got the lines. We'll go for the smudge across the face. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. I can live with that. So, once you've made your character, let's go load in. There might be a bit of a split screen. The cutscenes are in.
We called it the Traveler, and its arrival changed us forever. Great cities were built on Mars and Venus. Mercury became a garden world. Human lifespan tripled. It was a time of miracles. We stared out at the galaxy and knew that it was our destiny to walk in the light of other stars. But the Traveler had an enemy. A darkness which had hunted it for eons across the black gulfs of space. Centuries after our golden age began, this darkness found us. And that was the end of everything. But it was also a beginning.
I think that's more or less that one. The game isn't too big on cutscenes. You don't see a great deal of them, but I will say I'll leave the ones that are there in, so to speak.
Ouch. Is it possible? There you are. Guardian? Eyes up, Guardian. It worked. You're alive. You don't know how long I've been looking for you. I'm a ghost. Actually, now I'm your ghost. And you? Well, you've been dead a long time. So you're going to see a lot of things you won't understand. This is fallen territory. We aren't safe here. I have to get you to the city. Hold still. Don't worry, I'm still with you. We need to move. Fast.
Well, here we are. We are alive. And this is the opening this is the opening thing to Destiny. This happens every time.
We won't survive long.
So you've just got to do this.
Let's get inside the wall.
First mission. No weapons, just to run. I definitely think they need to keep the place better. The place has fallen down.
Okay, I need to find you a weapon before the Fallen find us.
Reminds me a bit of Half-Life, actually.
Quiet. They're right above us. Hang tight. Fallen thrive in the dark. We won't. We need more light. I'll see what I can do. Another one of these hardened military systems. And a few centuries of entropy working against me.
There we go.
They're coming for us.
And we have some lights.
Here, I found a rifle. Grab it.
Convenient. Right, so once you've actually
You know
got...
how to use that thing.
Wait for the ghost. Right, so once you've actually got your basic weapons, can't really demonstrate flipping between weapons. You get your primary, you'll get your secondary, and you'll get a special. Now the specials, once you start collecting the weapons and the loot starts to drop and all this. Specials, you got rocket launchers, you'll get like a heavy machine gun, and way on in the distance, which will be a very long time off for rails, you can in fact actually get swords. But I say that's a long time off, so we'll forget about those two for the minute. So the rocket launchers and those machine guns will be the big one. The ammo for these doesn't drop particularly much. They are a bit of a rare thing, so you can have to use them very sparingly, but they can get you out some really tight jams. Now you can carry one of each of these as you go, but you can mix between them. I'll show you the menu and all that in a minute. In your secondary, in your special slots, you would see something like shotguns, you'll see sniper rifles, and you can have sidearms, which is a bit of a new one, which is basically pistols. And then fusion rifles. Sorry, I forgot fusion rifles. Fusion rifles are a bit of a hard one to explain. You kind of get less like a 4-shot burst, sort of almost like a rifle. It'll fire out, impact on target. They're very strong. It'll impact out on a target. It'll hit really hard, but they have a charge up time on them. Very annoying. Can be very annoying. At the top, you'll have auto rifles, which is basically, more or less what I've got now. Fully automatic. Will fire until your heart's content. Low damage but high fire rate. You'll get scout rifles, which is a single shot rifle. My son's moaning at me in the back. But you get scout rifles, which is a single shot rifle, very accurate, deal a fair bit of damage. I like scout rifles a lot. When I get hold of scout rifles, you'll probably see me use them quite a lot. You get pulse rifles, again something else I love as well, which is a 3-shot rifle basically, bit like the auto rifle. just with a 3-shot burst, and you can keep spamming it as much as you wanted to go. So if you tap your options key, you open up, and this is your character list. This is what you're going to see for the first time. So you've got your lovely spanking Guardian in the middle with all that with all that lovely armor. On the top left, you got your primary weapons. So this is where all your weapons go. Now you can hold, as you can see, the empty boxes. You can hold multiple weapons at any given time, and you can flip between them. And they all come in different rarities. You get greys for commons, greens for uncommons, blues for rares, purples for legendaries, and when you really get there, the sort of like yellow gold for exotic weapons, and they're the hardest ones to get hold of. In this slot here, this is where your special weapons go. This is your shotguns, your sniper rifles, your fusion rifles, and your sidearms. And then that will represent this as well. So you get yourself 9 slots for each one. And at the bottom here, you have your heavy weapons, which will be rocket launchers, rocket launchers, swords, and machine guns. Now this is the Ghost. As you saw that talking at the front, this is your companion. It travels around with you. You know, very good at opening doors. You'll see this as playing Destiny. Now you can collect different shells. You know, they look different. They some of them do offer you slightly different abilities, but they're more or less cosmetic within reason. Flipping on to the right hand side. Right, so this bit here is all your armor. Starting from the top, get your helmet obviously. Again, you can collect multiple different helmets. Different helmets will give you sort of different stats and different abilities, and they'll affect you in different ways. Again, there's loads of different... My sons. Then you've got your gauntlets, which is your arms. Again, different rarities again. They're gonna affect you in different ways again. You know, it's the same for each one here. You're gonna check. Sorry, God, get your words out. You're going to collect your chests, you're going to collect your legs, and then the Titan mark. Now these are more or less cosmetic. It's kind of like, I don't know if you can see on this Titan. No, they normally sit at the back to the side somewhere. Now each different type of character has a different type of sort of class item, shall we say, that would sit here. So the Titans get this little mark, which looks like a bit like a tea cloth, I suppose you could say. The Warlocks get a band, which goes around their arm, and the Hunters get a cloak, which obviously, you know, goes all the way down the back. So specific for the Titan, you get your Titan mark. Once we get some bigger ones, you'll see them. They look very elaborate, and they get very good. Now at the top here, this is our light level. Now your light level sort of decrease your attack strength and your defense abilities within reason. The higher light level that you've got, the more damage you can essentially do. Oh dear. Now your light level is connected to your armor and your weapons. So the higher attack power. So we've got 5 light level because I have a weapon with 5. And all of the armor here is 5. But as you start collecting uncommons, rares, legendaries, obviously this number will shoot up massively and can actually go to a max of 330. So the higher light level you are, the stronger you'll be, the more damage you can do. Certain missions have certain light levels that you have to sort of acquire to, so to speak. So if you've got a mission that you need to do and you're light level 50 and you need to be 100, you won't be able to get into that mission until you've actually upped your light level. So you've got to go out, do some looting, get some better stuff, etc, etc. Underneath this number here, we've got our intelligence, our discipline, and our strength. Now this is directly connected to your armor. So I could have a pair of gauntlets here. It could give me, 50 discipline and 30 strength. But then I could have another piece and might do something else for me next to it, so I could alter between the two. Now the intellect is directly connected to your super. At this moment in time, this character has the ground smash ability for the tiger, which is the striker. So the higher intellect that I have through my armor, the quicker my super will recharge, and the more times I can use it. Underneath that is our discipline. Now each character, once you've leveled up your skill tree a little bit, will get a grenade. Now once you've leveled up fully, you'll have the difference between 3 grenades. Each grenade will do something different. We'll look at that once we've actually got the grenades and we've got some to actually have a look at that. But basically, up your discipline through the armor. that you'll find, and your grenade recharge rate will be much quicker, so you can throw grenades much quicker. Works for some. I don't know. I've never really played a Titan, so to speak, so I don't know how well the grenades actually really work with a Titan. But I do use the grenades, but probably not as much as I should do. And the strength at the bottom. Now each character has a melee ability. I mean, any character can melee. He'll just punch basically, more or less. But the Titan does anyway. But for whatever elemental special that you're using, be it Arc, Void, or Solar, that will mimic your melee attack as at the same time, and that has a recharge rate. So you can use it once, and say the Arc one, I'll punch someone, it'll electrocute them essentially. I'll punch him and it'll have increased power and increased strength. But once I've used it once and actually hit something with it, it'll have a recharge time before I can then use that again. But in the meantime, while it's charging up, I can just punch people normally. Does a fair bit of damage. It works sometimes. There'll definitely be a time at some point or another I'll walk up to something and I'll punch it and I'll be like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, and then we're going to die. Now the little padlock symbol under here are artifacts. Now you use the artifacts to sort of, again, it's basically to up your abilities. They give you a slightly increased ability rate for something or another, but you don't unlock that to a level 40, so it's going to be a little way off till the time we see that. And then we've got a little arrow at the bottom left here. Then you go down into your equipment. Now I can't really sort of show you these things until we've actually got them. You got some emotes. I'll show you what they do in a minute. I need to be out the screen to do that. You can collect different ones. Unfortunately though, that does require real money through microtransactions, which is a new thing. But they do give you 2 for free. But they're cosmetic. They do absolutely nothing. They're just pure cosmetic. Now you get emblems. In the top right, you'll see my name. I am in a clan. I run a clan Blood Wolves. Just leave that. It'll say my level. That's my main skill level in the top 1. We haven't done anything yet. You got your light level. That will always reflect there. It'll up, it'll down, compared to what gear that you got. And then you got your emblem. Again, the emblems are completely cosmetic. There are absolutely hundreds to collect. I say hundreds, but there's a fair few. You'll get certain emblems from doing special things. Like this one is actually a legendary one from year 1, where you had to do loads of stuff. Basically, you had to collect so many boxes. You had to kill some really big bosses. It was kind of like something to complete in year 1 before it flicked over to year 2. So I have that because I'm a year 1 player. I've played this from year 1. So I might actually put that on, as it is. I've not really used it since now. You got your shaders. Now you can change the shaders. They change the colour of your armour. Again, purely cosmetic. You can be purple, you can be blue, you can be pink, you can be red. All sorts of things like that. It all gets a bit crazy. And ships and vehicles, we will leave that until we've actually got them, until I can actually show you. And I will show you the quest pages and the roster, the quest pages, the inventory, when we've actually got some things to see and show. So actually, let's continue. We're going to sit here all day just talking. Right, so we've got our first rifle, and we've now got to escape this wall. So we shall travel on. Got some enemies mauling around. Oh. Right, I was going to say, if there was that Dreg there, the enemy, dropped a little white box. So for primary ammo, you will find yourself white boxes. Those will drop on the floor, which is primary ammo. Green ones, which will be special ammo. And you get purple ones when you see them, on which got heavy weapons, which will drop heavy weapons ammo. But you won't see a great deal of them, as they don't drop particularly much. All the enemies in the game, so my sound's a bit loud here. All the enemies, in this game have all critical points. They do move around for certain enemies, so it's kind of learning what enemy that we're facing. So sort of, what critical that they have to kill them quickly. These ones are easy, plain up straight headshots. Although you've got to love this first rifle that they give you. So old.
There's more ahead. Keep it up.
Running along.
A loot cache. Let's see what's inside.
Now you find these dotted around Destiny all over the place, sort of in the patrols, in the missions, sometimes in the missions in fact. They're basically a little chest. They'll give you completely random gear. This one is always set up to give you a gun. It will always give you a gun. The little boxes in the top right there, that's glimmer, that's currency. The more of that you collect, you'll see it. You know, you'll find the glimmer. You use that glimmer to purchase items, weapons, gear, and various things like that. And I just got a friend request from someone. If you're watching, I will accept that one later. Oh, my apologies, wrong button. Right, so we just got a special weapon, which was a shotgun, Preacher Mark 20. So now that we've got this box open, our shotgun is in here, so I can now flip between two with the triangle key. I'm playing on the PlayStation. If it's the Xbox key, I don't know which one it is, so I apologise. Right, so now we've got a shotgun. Now you can, right next to the weapon, at the bottom where the numbers are, just to the right there, there's a slight grey line, a white line. So the white represents special, the ammo type, so to speak, so that would be the white boxes. And the shotgun for the green little line, which will be your shotgun. So that will drop green ammo on the floor.
Trip mines. Don't touch them.
And you can shoot trip mines out. Oh god. All the kids are waking up. Sorry about the background noise, everyone, if you can hear them, which I'm sure you probably can. Let's try the shotgun out. I love shotguns in this game. Shotguns will get you, there you go. Green for shotgun, white for special. For normal, sorry. I'll probably get out of this first mission, get to somewhere safe, and I might have to cut this one short for episode 1. As everyone is waking up in this house. I say, but for this one, we've gone through a brief character explanation, you know, of what we see, various things of the display and the weapons, and I'll touch more in detail on these things as we progress on. There we go, there's our melee. We don't have our special melee yet, unfortunately, so it's just going to be a plain up hit. Come on. Why is it whenever you go to do something on a game, all the kids have to wake up? Every time. Here we are. Load all your weapons up.
This was an old cosmodrome.
And out into the open.
There's got to be something we can fly out of here.
I do like the scenery in this game, I've got to admit. There's some pretty nice scenery in this game. See all the destruction, all the old tanks, and you can almost tell instantly that you're in Russia as well. This is where we are, by the way. We are actually in Russia, and there's certain places where you can come on in the future. You can explore this whole area. You can come back on what's called a patrol, and you can walk around at your own leisure. All the enemies, you can kill as many enemies as you like, and you can explore, you can look around, you can find things. But again, we will touch on that one in the future, when we get there. So we shall deal with all the enemies. Punching dregs is fun. So when you look at your enemies, you will notice in the top left, you'll see their level. As the enemies get stronger, you know, your light level needs, or your own main level needs to increase with them. I can show you at a later date, not yet. You'll see, if an enemy is too strong for you, it will pop up with 2 red question marks in the top left, and this basically means that you cannot damage this enemy no matter how hard you try. Now if you do see this, suggestion number 1, run very quickly. It won't happen too often, because the game is very balanced. You do tend to level up sort of in correlation to enemies around you, but there are a few little sneaky spots where there are some stupidly strong enemies. Oh, we've leveled up, level 2.
I'm picking up signs of an old jump ship.
Right, so now that we're level 2,
Be our ticket out of here.
if we were to open up our character screen here, and you'll see the little plus symbol on the right hand side of this this box here. So this is our striker subclass. Now you can change between the subclasses, like I said. So this is our defender, and this is our striker. You'll notice the armor is sort of, not even halfway. The recovery and the agility are really low, and the same will go for this one. Obviously, and these will increase as we level up our characters and we get stronger. Now I'm going to go with the striker first. I'm going to level up the striker more or less straight away, and then I'll move on to the other subclasses. The third subclass is unlocked at a later date, so we can't worry about that one at the minute in time. So once you open up this, now this is what you'll see: loads of grey boxes. As you start earning the XP from killing, and doing the quests, doing the missions, you'll earn XP from doing all these as rewards. At the top left, we've got our grenade, our flashbang grenade. So we now have a grenade. So I'll tap X on that. That's highlighted blue. That's what I've now selected. So when I go back, I'll now have a grenade to throw, which is pretty cool. And then as you left, you got a jump. So you can actually, once you've leveled up, you can actually have a jump. So you can actually sort of get up to quite high things. Some of these characters can jump stupidly high. And the way this works is it goes to the right. So it'll go this way along the line here. It'll get to here, and then it'll come back down to the bottom this way, and it'll go right again, and it'll come back down to here with this grenade, and it'll go right down here, and it'll go to the bottom. And then when you get here, you're going to have a fully leveled up character. Now some of these on this side here, like these 3 lines here, you can normally only select one of them, so they affect you in different ways. We won't go too deep into it now because I could be here for hours explaining all this. But you can have different abilities like a shoulder charge. So you can run at someone, you tap the R1 key, it will shoulder barge something. In Crucible, that's a one-hit kill. Most of the smaller enemies, it's a one-hit kill again. Very nasty. But this is our general skill tree, And as we start getting the XP, the boxes will start filling. There's a circle around this one here. And as I start loading the XP, this green line will go around that circle until it's filled. I've leveled it up, I can then select it, and then it will start moving on to the next one. So, that's that. So, let's progress on. So we now have a grenade. So if I tap the shoulder key, grenade throws, that'll do what it was. Now the bottom left, next to my primary weapon there, you'll see the grenade symbol and a grey line which is travelling up now. So that's my recharge rate for my grenade. And as I said, if I up the intelligence, I believe it is the intelligence? Discipline, my apologies. Up the discipline of your armour, and that grenade recharge rate will be increased. Deal with all the annoying enemies.
There's a ship. Clear them out.
Right, now this one has a shield. Now this will progress. As the enemies progress, they'll have a shield. Now he's covered in a blue shield, so theoretically, if you had an arc weapon, it would break the shield quicker. Ugh. This baby. Don't have babies and play games, people. Things get loud. My apologies. But with enough damage from any weapon, the shotgun will be the best bet for this guy. Punch. Finish you off. He's going to have a headbutt in the morning. Headbutt. He's going to have a headache in the morning. And get shanks. Very flying little enemies. They're very annoying. And there's another one in here somewhere. Where are you? There you are. Clear everything out.
All right. Let me see if I can get us out of here.
There we go. A little split screen. Cutscene for a second.
It's been here a while. Hasn't made a jump in centuries. We're lucky the Fallen haven't completely picked it clean.
Will it fly?
I can make it work. Okay, it's not going to break orbit, but it just might get us to the city. Now, above that transmitter. Bringing you in. can come back for them when you're ready. Let's get you home.
Definitely don't try this with children. There we go. So, once you complete your missions, you'll see your activity awards for that particular mission. You'll also probably get an award. Yeah, we've got a ship, but that's going to be sort of filled. You get that every single time. You'll see kills, your precision kills, which is how many sort of headshots, or if an enemy has a specific other precision kill, you're required to kill them, you'll find that there. Deaths if you die. Hopefully that will always be on 0, but I'd say this game does require a lot of death sometimes, especially when you're going up against harder enemies. You'll see your melee kills, you'll see your assists, and your precision kills, and how long it took you. 22 minutes to complete the first mission. That's not bad. Took ages. And we shall continue. Now, I won't filter out any of the cutscenes or loading screens or anything like that. This will be primarily all play through.
Welcome to the last safe city on Earth. The only place the Traveler can still protect. It took centuries to build. Now, we're counting every day it stands. And this tower is where the Guardians live.
Wait for the loading screens. Unfortunately, this game does incur a few loading screens along the way, unfortunately. It's one of those things. It is a pretty big game, though. So it's understandable for loading screens in and between. Although... there we go. No, I hear sound, but I don't see picture.
12 tone.
Come on. There we go. And so this is one of the social areas. However, I'm probably going to leave this for episode 2. So, in episode 2, we will come back, revisit. Going on in the future, I will always probably retouch on sort of the gear and weapons. I know that was just a brief sort of introduction to two things, the way you see it, sort of a brief explanation. But we'll go through in more detail those things as I have the weapons and the armor and the things to actually show you. I'll actually I'll touch on that more and I will elaborate more. So we'll leave this one for episode 2, where we'll go around the tower. We'll explore. I'll show you what happens on the tower and the things that actually happen. So we'll leave that one for number 2. So I hope you enjoyed episode 1. I hope to sort of do more of these, continue it going, and we'll level up a character together basically, and we'll see how far it goes. So if you enjoy, please leave a like and share. Start again, a like and a sub, and I will see you all in episode 2.